Hi, I'm Katie with Factory Direct Crafts, and today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little Santa ornaments. What you're going to need for this project is you're going to need a styrofoam ball, some white yarn, a hot glue gun, a couple sheets of red felt, white embroidery floss, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle, and one wooden bead. Once you have all of your materials together, let's go ahead and get started. This is a super fun project to do around the holiday season, especially with kids, and you have some super cute ornaments afterwards to hang on the tree. You could also use these to decorate a shelf and give it just a fun Christmas vibe. So the first step is making your Santa hat. So what you want to do is you want to take a piece of felt and your styrofoam ball, place it about 4 inches down the sheet, and roll it until the felt meets. So where the felt meets is where you're going to want to take your scissors and make a straight cut down the line. And you'll cut across when you reach your styrofoam ball. So now we're going to turn this into a hat by gluing both of the sides together. So I'm going to run a line of hot glue down the edge, and we're going to fold this under and over and pinch it tight. And this is going to sit on our little Santa's head. So once that's dry, we're going to go ahead and just trim the top to make it a little more even. Just like that. Next comes turning it into an actual hat, and we're going to do this by using embroidery floss. And I'm just going to cut a piece about 1 foot long. And I'm going to wrap it about 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch down the hat. And we're just going to wrap it and pull it super tight to secure the top of this little hat and give it a little poof on top. Once you've wrapped it several times and you can see the white line on the hat, go ahead and double knot your ends. Again, pulling it as tight as you can. And then we're going to trim that up. Okay, the next little detail we want to add to the hat is a little embroidery pattern around the brim. So I'm going to cut about a 2.5 foot piece of white embroidery floss, and I'm going to thread my needle with it, and I'm using a yarn needle. And go ahead and tie a nice knot on the end. Now you can really do any pattern you want on the bottom. It really depends on your embroidery skills. I'm going to do a very simple, kind of like an X pattern along the bottom. So I'm just going to start by pushing my needle through. And then I'm going to go down. And back up. And I'm trying to keep these X's as neat as possible. But they don't have to be perfect. So there's my first little X, and I'm going to go ahead and repeat this pattern around the entire brim of the hat. So when you're done with your pattern, you can go ahead and tie off. So I'm just going to run this underneath some of my stitches and pull it through and knot it. So once that's ready to go, you go ahead and trim it. And there is your finished hat. So now we're gonna move on to making the little beard for our Santa Claus. So you're gonna take some white yarn and wrap it around your hand until you get a nice thick beard, as thick as you think it should be. And I want mine nice and full. There we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and cut the end. And then you're gonna wanna cut a nice long piece, about a foot long, of the yarn and slide it through the center of your loops. And now I'm gonna tie a loose knot at the top. So now to turn this into a beard, what you wanna do is slide your scissors down the end and cut the loop. See, you have a bunch of individual pieces, just like this. So the next step is attaching this to your styrofoam ball. So about a quarter way up, I'm gonna go ahead and tie this on. And the yarn sticks pretty well to the styrofoam, but if you feel like you need to use hot glue to keep it in place, that's totally up to you. And now I'm gonna go ahead and trim the back side of the beard, just like that. So there's what my beard looks like. Now I'm gonna add a little nose. So you see you left this extra fabric in the loop when you tied the loose knot. So go ahead and take a wooden bead and apply a drop of hot glue to the back of it and stick it right down there in the hole. And that's gonna be Santa's nose. So now we're gonna take our hot glue and apply it around the rim of your styrofoam ball. And we're gonna slide the hat on, making sure that the seam is in the back. And pull that all the way down until it meets the beard. And then your hat can flop however you want it to sit. Just kind of play with the felt and it'll move that way. And there's our little Santa Claus. Now if you want to turn this into an ornament, it's super easy. All you do is take a piece of your embroidery floss, about a foot long, and tie it in a knot on the end. And now I'm going to go ahead and take my glue, put a little bit on the knot, and attach it to the embroidery floss around the brim of the hat. And hold that in place. Then you can go ahead and trim up your ends. And there you have your Santa Claus ornament ready to go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a lot of fun with this project.